I started recording, which is the thing that I sometimes forget. So I'll be able to send the replay out. I am going to share my screen. We'll walk through the presentation at any time. If you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I cannot see the chat if I'm sharing my screen. So I will just, at the very end of the presentation, I will open up the chat and see what questions you have. And then you all can come off mute and ask questions that way as well.
I'm gonna mute my audio then.
Okay, perfect. Oh, Ginger, hello.
Hi.
I've talked to you a million times
Yeah.
on chat, but I've never seen your face
N-
before.
Yeah, sorry I'm looking so bad right now.
Oh, don't be sorry. This is
I've not been feeling well today, so I'm
we're all
actually
about being
still in my
casual and laid
gown.
back here. You do you. You relax. Yes, it is nice to put a face with a name, finally.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah, I've
welcome. I'm so
enjoyed
happy
it.
you ladies are here. This is going to be about nutrition. As you probably know, you've probably seen my trainings. I have four pillars, happy belly pillars that I base everything I do with my clients on. And this one is the nutrition pillar. So I'm going to share my screen and we will open the presentation and let me know if you can see it okay. Does everybody see the screen okay? Good. Okay. Awesome. So this is the nutrition truth that no one is talking about. So in the world of nutrition, we have sort of been taught that this is something we can learn from our schools, maybe from our doctors, maybe from our parents, but none of these people are experts in nutrition, and this is how we're raised, right? Thinking that these people are going to teach us, and it's not happening, and we wonder why we are the sickest country and we spend the most on healthcare because our medical system is not based around nutrition. So, what I really want to reframe with everybody is to stop relying on the medical field. It's literally got the word medicine in it. Stop relying on the medical field for our wellness, our nutrition, our nervous system, our gut microbiome, like all these things that are wellness, not medicine related. We need to remember we're relying on the medical system for medicine, not for actual root cause wellness that's going to make us happy and healthy for the rest of our lives, right? So this is something we need to take back the power ourselves. And that's why I'm doing this presentation, because this is like at a very baseline level of health, this is something that everybody needs to know, right? Just nutrition. This is the basics, but we were never ever really taught this, right? So this is for educational purposes only. I don't diagnose, treat, or replace medical care. This is based on my experience and is just to help you understand your body more deeply. So always consult with your healthcare provider before you change anything. So, how do you know if you are in the right place? Do you feel like you never have enough energy to get through the day? Do you have a hard time falling asleep or staying asleep? Do you have thinning hair or dull skin? Do you crave salt, sugar, carbs, or greasy food? Do you get sick often? Do you have brain fog or trouble concentrating? Do you feel confused about food and what to eat? And do you wish you just had a plan that works? Right? A lot of people, in fact, the majority of people have these symptoms and they think it's just a part of getting older. That's what I hear all the time. Like, oh, this getting older sucks. Getting older does not have to suck, you guys. I am 48 and I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life.
Mm.
It doesn't have to suck. Like, there is a way for us to build our health from the ground up and feel really good every single day. So, my four pillars of health, this is what I, over the years, over all my experience, all the people I've worked with, all my schooling, everything I've read, we need these four things to bring optimum health. I want you to have optimum health, not the minimum amount, not like, I feel okay. I want you to feel amazing. And we need all four of these pillars to be nice and tall and strong. So these are the essential building blocks of every health home. I talk a lot about building your health home. This is something that we've never talked about in the general public. Like, we need to build our health. It doesn't just happen to us. We need to build it. And so We need that mind-body connection, the nervous system. We need nourishment. We need gut restoration. We've got to repair all the damage that's been done to the gut because we've done a lot of damage to it over the years. If we're all right in the kind of the same generation, we've done a lot of damage. We need to restore the gut. And then we need to have some lifestyle rhythms. Like we need to be supporting our body with the things that we do throughout our day. So this is how you build a happy belly. And today we're talking about this one pillar, nourishment. So nourishment, meaning your body is full and happy and able to have all the fuel it needs to heal itself, to get you through life in a very, very positive, energetic way. Nourishment, right? So even if one pillar is depleted, the health home crumbles. So a lot of people focus on one or two pillars and they forget the other ones and they still wonder why they don't feel good. So we've got to get all four of these pillars strong. So what we're going to cover today is why you can be eating healthy. And I put healthy in quotes because all the phone calls I have with women who come to me for help say, I don't know what's wrong. I'm eating healthy, but I still don't feel good. So I put healthy in quotes because we can all think we're eating healthy, but again, we were never taught what actually a healthy diet really means. So we can still be nutrient deficient no matter how much effort we're putting in. I'm going to show you how to track so that you know exactly what you're lacking so we don't have to guess. And then what to do to ensure that you are really nourished. And so if you don't know me, I am Marissa Hughes. I'm a certified transformational nutrition coach specializing in digestive health. I'm a certified trauma-informed breathwork practitioner and a Pilates instructor. I spent 30 years searching for answers to my own gut issues. And so now I help women uncover their root causes of their bloating, their reflux, their constipation, their food sensitivities. I use advanced microbiome testing, nervous system work, and a structured gut healing process to help women do that. So this was me. I felt sick from birth, well into my 30s. I was bloated. I had terrible acne. I was constipated. I couldn't sleep. I had massive anxiety. I was nauseous all the time. I always felt like I was going to throw up. I kept gaining weight and it was really hard. I was a single mom and I owned a restaurant and it was getting really hard to do my day to day. I was in my 20s. Like that should be when you have all the energy and feel really good, right? So this is my point when I was relying on doctors, and doctors literally told me, one guy said I must just be defective and he just sent me out the door. So 20 years later, after I've put in tons of effort, I feel the best I've ever felt in my life. I'm in a good mood every day, which my husband is very thankful for. He married me when I felt like this. I have food freedom. I can eat the foods I want. They're not going to bother me. I have regular bowel movements, which is like the best thing. If you know, you know, right? Like my belly doesn't get bloated. I used to get so bloated, right? Like that food baby feeling when you have to unbutton your pants. I don't get that anymore, no matter what I eat. I have energy all day long. I wake up with energy and I have energy all day. And I'm a better mom. I'm a better wife. I'm a better friend because I can actually stop stressing about my own shit and focus on the people and the world around me. Plus, I'm hopeful for the future because I know that I am in probably the top 5% of healthy people in this country. So I know that I am going to avoid all those terrible things that are happening to people to the best of my ability, right? I'm hopeful that I'll be 90 years old and walking around Italy with my grandkids. So I kept cutting out more and more foods. This is probably what a lot of people are doing. You know, I just talked about that with you, Linda, like cutting more foods, trying to get rid of my symptoms until I realized that my gut wasn't working and it wasn't absorbing what I was eating. So it didn't matter what the foods I was not eating or eating. It didn't matter because my gut wasn't working. And so most women, so I just read the newest research shows that only 6% of people, and you've probably seen me say this because it's so alarming to me, only 6% of people are actually getting the right amount of nutrition in their body. 6%. So 94% of people are nutrient deficient. Why is that? We have all the food around us that we could possibly have. We're surrounded by food, but we're all nutrient deficient. So it's not just about the food. And this is where a lot of people go wrong. It's not just about what you're eating, it's about how much you're eating, it's about the quality of the food you're eating, and it's also about how well your gut works. So, number one, women are typically under eating. This is seriously an epidemic. It started decades ago, right? Because of diet culture. How many diets have we all been on? We probably all did the low fat thing in the 90s. We've probably all done the low carb thing, the Atkins. We've probably restricted calories because someone told us we had to restrict calories to lose weight, right? So, as women, we've only been taught to restrict and cut back. We've never been taught to add more. We've never been taught to nourish ourselves. We skip meals when we're stressed or busy. We're moms, we're friends, we're spouses, we're working, right? And we get busy and we skip meals. We don't feel good. A lot of us who have gut issues, we don't feel good, so we eat less. If you don't feel good when you eat, it's not really inspiring to eat, right? And if our body isn't giving hunger signals because it doesn't feel safe, then you just don't get the cue from your body to eat. Your body must feel safe in order to be nourished. So that has a lot to do with the nervous system piece. So the effects of under eating, the body doesn't have enough fuel, so you feel low energy, brain fog, maybe muscle fatigue. The metabolism actually slows down, so your body holds on to fat because it thinks that we're going to go into starvation mode. So it holds on to all the fat that it can. Digestion slows down. So when our digestion slows down, our body is doing the smart thing. It's going, hey, we don't have enough nutrients. So I'm going to slow down the way the food moves through the digestive tract so we can get more nutrients out of the food. So what does this cause? Constipation, bloating, heartburn, because the food is fermenting where it's not supposed to ferment and everything is rising up. So this is that esophageal sphincter we're talking about. If the food is coming back up, it needs somewhere to go. So that sphincter has to open and things come up. So it's not the sphincter's fault. It is something going on down in your body, and your body is really smart. It's always doing what it needs to do to keep you alive. So we just need to listen to those cues and fix what's going on at the root to really get rid of those issues. And then we also have cravings. So people have cravings because, again, your body's trying to keep you alive and it's going, hey, we do not have enough nutrients. So I'm going to keep telling you that you need more food until I get enough nutrients. So the next part of it, on top of the fact that we're typically under eating, is soil depletion. So there are tons and tons and tons of farms. Like we have more farms than we know what to do with, but they're not farming properly. So poor farming practices are monocropping, growing the same crop over and over again. They're not supposed to do that. Lack of ruminant animals that fertilize the soil, tons and tons of chemicals, tons and tons of pesticides. Our soil is so depleted that our food does not have the vitamins and minerals that it used to when our grandparents ate them. We are only as healthy as our soil. So if the soil is not healthy, we are not healthy. Glyphosate. You've probably heard me talk about glyphosate. So this is the main ingredient in Roundup. Glyphosate is now sprayed on everything. Not only is it sprayed as an herbicide, so weed killer, bug killer, but it's also sprayed at the very end of growing the crops to dry the crops so that they can harvest quicker. So not only are they spraying it at the beginning of growing, but they're spraying it at the end. So now it's going straight into our bodies when we're eating. Glyphosate acts as an antibiotic in our body. It kills our good bacteria. So it kills the bugs on the plants. It also kills the bugs in our gut that we need. It also binds to minerals. It's called a chelator. It binds to the minerals in the body and removes minerals out of our body. So everyone is mineral deficient. The soil is deficient, and then the glyphosate on top of it is literally leaching minerals out of your body. So this is a true epidemic. I don't know if you've seen in the news that they are trying to approve glyphosate or Roundup so that no one can sue them if they have health issues. So it's been directly linked to cancer. They've paid out billions with a B in whatever the word is for people who got cancer from using it. It causes leaky gut. It causes all kinds of things. And they are trying to get protection so that no one can sue them anymore. So this is a very big deal. We all need to be paying attention to this glyphosate issue. So our modern produce has 25 to 50% less vitamins than it did before glyphosate and before these poor farming practices. So basically, we would have to eat twice as much fruits and vegetables as our grandparents did to get the same amount. And we're already under eating, so we're definitely not going to eat twice as much, right? So this is a real problem. So if you don't know where your food comes from and what the farming practices are, if we're just buying food from the grocery store, you may think you're doing all the right things. And this is why it's so frustrating. It's not your fault. You think you're doing the right things, but your food is depleted, right? So this is a big problem. So then on top of the under eating, on top of the healthy food being depleted, we have replaced so many of our foods with processed foods. Ultra processed foods are the foods that aren't even real food anymore, right? They are food-like substances that the body does not recognize. So they are toxic to the body. I saw a study the other day that said that 70% of Americans, their diet is ultra processed food. So only 30% is real food. So that's a scary thing too, on top of the under eating, on top of the food being depleted. Now we're replacing our food with food-like substances that the body doesn't know what to do with. We literally build the cells of our body out of the food we eat. So we replace our gut lining every 3 to 5 days. So when we're talking about gut healing, we want to put the building blocks into the body that the body is going to use to rebuild our gut with. And if we're rebuilding our gut out of donuts and French fries, right, that gut lining is not going to be very strong. So we need to actually think about what we're building our body out of. There was a study I saw where they took 2 groups of people and put them out in the sun. One group of people, they just fed the standard American diet, like what you see on the screen. The other group of people had all antioxidant foods, real foods, fruits, vegetables, colorful foods. And the group that got this diet all got burned and the other people didn't get burned. So we're literally building our skin out of what we're eating. And this food oxidizes the skin and that's how it gets damaged. So these foods are high in calories, high in fat, high in sugar. And all these companies have scientists working for them. Their only job is to make sure that these are addictive. So they're very easy to overeat. You ever notice you can eat a whole bag of chips and not get full, but you could never eat a whole bag of broccoli, right? They make it that way on purpose. So this is a big problem in America typically, and then we're given all of our habits across the world, right? So these foods are the quickest, easiest, and most available to eat. So for all the busy people out there, they're making this easy for you on purpose, right? And it's also easiest for people to feed their kids. So I see a lot of kids in my practice, and it's really sad to do their gut tests and see that their guts are already so depleted and they're so young. But it's because the kids' food is really the worst food on the shelves. It is the most damaging. It's the most full of fake colors and fake everything, right? So these foods are slowly causing disease. People become overfed and undernourished. So they're eating all these foods, but still have no nutrients in the body. So then the next piece on top of the things we've compounded, right, is the integrity of the gut. So your gut determines what you absorb. You can eat all the healthy foods, but not be absorbing the nutrients from your foods. Damage over the years affects the integrity of the gut. So the gut lining is like a human hair thin, and then we have a mucosal barrier to protect it, and then we have our gut bacteria, which is like your first line of defense to protect your gut. But we've done so much damage over the years, right? Like maybe we had a terrible diet when we were kids or teenagers or young people. Maybe we took lots of antibiotics as a kid or as an adult. Maybe we've taken a lot of medications, whether over the counter or prescription, a lot of stress, poor diet, lack of sleep. All of these things play a role in the strength of the gut lining. So when we take a lot of antibiotics or eat a shitty diet or whatever it might be, stress, we really tend to get rid of our good gut bacteria. And this hinders the breakdown and the processing of food. We can also cause a lack of stomach acid because probably at one point you got heartburn, you went to the doctor, and the doctor put you on a acid blocker for a decade. And what this does is it causes the stomach acid to stop being produced at the level we need it to be produced to break down our food. So now when we eat, the food sits in the belly. There's nothing there to break it down. It needs stomach acid to break down to move to the next step. So now your food sits there, it starts to ferment. This is why the belly starts to go out. This is why we need to unbutton the jeans. And this is when things start to go back up, right? So this lack of stomach acid is causing undigested food to move through the digestive tract, and your body just can't absorb it. If it's not broken down by the stomach acid, your small intestine can't take in the nutrients. And then we might have pancreatic insufficiency. So we might have low digestive enzymes. We might have maybe the gallbladder was removed and now we have a lack of bile. So we need the bacteria, we need the stomach acid, we need the digestive enzymes, the bile, and we need the gut to be strong to even get the nutrients from the food that we are putting into our body. And then the final piece, so we're compounding, right? So we've got the under eating, we've got the soil depletion, we've got the processed foods replacing our whole foods, we've got the gut integrity, and now the final piece is unreliable labs. People are going to their doctor and their doctor is saying everything looks good, but really they're struggling and they go, I know that something is wrong and you keep telling me everything looks good. So the conventional range, what your doctor is using is the let's say average range of the people that go get tested. So if this is a bunch of very average to poor health people, we don't really want to be in that average to poor health range, right? We want to be in an optimum range. So we want to look at an optimal range, not the conventional range. So functional medicine doctors, and there are other, coaches and various people that can do lab work for you that will get you optimal. So let's say you go to your doctor and your vitamin D is 32, your doctor will go, great, you're in range, and send you on your way. But really, you probably still feel like shit because that is very low. If you go to a functional medicine doctor, they're going to want you above 50, right? So let's look at a different marker as an example. CRP is a marker of inflammation. So you want low inflammation, right? So a conventional range under 3, if you walk into your doctor and you get a 2.5, they're going to be like, great, you're under 3. You're good for inflammation. Well, we really want it to be under a 1. And if we're not under a 1, we need to look at, why are you a 2.5? There's some chronic inflammation here somewhere. And we need to put on our detective hat and look and see where that inflammation is coming from. So you already have all these other things happening, right? With the food. And then you go to your doctor and say you don't feel good. And the doctor says, nope, you're fine, and sends you on your way. So you can be eating perfectly, what you think is perfect. You can be doing all these things. And this is the most frustrating part is I talk to so many women and they go, I'm eating so healthy and I have so many health issues. Like, how can this be? So you can be eating perfectly and still not be getting enough nutrients from your food. So what is the solution? So tracking your food is the first step. Now, no one likes tracking. Well, I take that back. Some people like tracking. I actually got to enjoy it because I was really kind of trying to get to those good numbers. When I first started tracking, I was under eating. Just like I said in the beginning, most people are under eating. So when I talk about tracking food, it's in the opposite way of how weight loss people are going to tell you to track food. If you join a weight loss program, they are going to tell you to look at your macros, your calories, your fat, your protein, your carbs. I want you to look at your nutrients. I want you to be getting enough. I want you to track so that you eat more food to get more nutrients. When you go to a weight loss program, they're going to want you to eat less food to hit these low numbers, right? Because I've been in them, I've studied them. They don't even care what kind of food you eat as long as you hit your macros. So if you want to lose weight, do the gut work first because you've got to get your gut strong, and then you can look at losing weight. But I use Chronometer. So a lot of people use My Fitness Pal. I found that this one is much more comprehensive. It'll tell you your nutrients, and really give you a good idea of if you're hitting these things every day. So does anybody want to be a guinea pig and we can put in a day of your food to see where you're at with nutrients? Anybody? Lacey?
I could do it. Since I joined late, I can sacrifice.
Well, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'll send out the
So
replay so you can.
they moved a meeting on me and I'm like, are you kidding me?
That I know. I had so many people text me today that for some reason everyone said work was crazy today. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with today,
Yeah.
but it's crazy. So that is totally fine. We will. I'll send you out the replay. So,
Thank you.
um,
One thing I was thinking of when you were telling us about the gut and the acid and the nutrients is, a lot of women suffering from osteoporosis. And it's like, don't you feel like that, because if you're not absorbing your nutrients, then it's taking it out of your bones.
absolutely. That is such a great point because I actually just had someone ask me, what collagen do you think I should take for osteoporosis? And as well-meaning as that is, that's not the solution, right? Like we've got to look deeper to see why you have it in the first place and fix it at the root, which you're absolutely right. If you are not getting the right nutrients, then they're going to be leached out from somewhere and it could be your bones.
Yeah.
So most women, as they age, get osteoporosis, but no one ever tells them to eat more nutritious foods, right?
Yeah.
So let's come here. So everybody is going to have different needs, right? So there's no way we can just plug this in and say you're good or not good. This is a very minimum. So this is my journal, and I track to make sure I'm getting enough. So this is my minimum of what I want to hit every day, which is 1,600 calories, 120 grams of protein, 160 grams of carbs, and 53 grams of fat. When I first started this journey, I was under eating, probably because I didn't feel good, right? And then I still just like, I tend to not have a huge appetite, but I need to make sure that I'm getting all my nutrients. So that's why I track. A lot of people track for weight loss. I track for making sure I get enough nutrients. And so this chronometer makes it really easy. You can go in and put if you do have a goal or a target, but I would say most women probably need to be more around like 1,800 calories. So I make sure that I hit 16 and go over. But that this is all an individual thing. So if you want to just let me know what food you had today, we'll
I
start
know,
plugging it.
not a good breakfast, but I had a small bag of, the Trader Joe's almonds.
Okay, so we'll
They
put
do like the
almonds,
Mhm.
probably.
Raw. Yeah, they're raw. Um,
Do you think it was maybe like a couple tablespoons?
yeah, like 2 to 3. It's probably like maybe 10 in a bag, something like that.
Maybe we'll go like a quarter cup.
Yeah, that sounds
Okay.
about, yeah. I can always go back and do that later, and then a cup of coffee and
Anything in your coffee?
yes, I didn't measure today, but usually like 2 tablespoons of half and half.
Okay. Okay.
And then I just had a lunch and it was a salad. It was like one of those mixed greens, and a chicken breast. It's kind of,
Mixed
this is
green.
probably going to be annoying because there's a lot of little items in there.
That's
Uh,
okay. I like to be pretty specific so that we get an accurate count here. Chicken breast.
and I had like four, it was like the green and black olives in it.
This sounds like a good salad. Probably should we say
Well, so
like
yeah, not those kind, but we probably put the green ones because they're like
chicken?
the Mediterranean ones. and it had a little like 3 pieces of feta cheese. I don't even know if we want to count that, but it was like they're real tiny because it was just the bottom of the barrel that was left. And then probably like 3 celery stalks. And half a avocado, half a small avocado.
Oops. Okay, there we go. Let's spell it right. Half an avocado. Let's see. We'll do half. Okay.
And sprinkling of Parmesan.
Do you think maybe like a tablespoon, a teaspoon?
Like a tablespoon, more like a tablespoon.
Okay.
And then what else was on there? Oh, I did some red onions that I had smoked in or soaked in some brine.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. The first
Um,
time I done it, it was actually really because they say if it takes the bite out of the onions.
yeah,
I
like a
had
little
Yeah, I had some pickled kelp. I like because I'm from Alaska, and so I used the brine from the pickled kelp. So
ah,
yeah, I mean I'm gonna send a little note to them like, hey, you need to put this in one of your future recipes
that's
because
so smart. I love that.
was good. So and that's where I have a question for you because I've heard because like I know I saw on your thing kefir, and I know that one of the things that's important that we need to have like kimchi and that kind of stuff. But someone said that if the pickling is made with vinegar, then it's not the right gut for you, or it's
That was
not.
me.
That
I
that
said
was you. That was
that.
you. Okay, that was you. So I was
Yes.
looking on the ingredients today, going, well, it's made with vinegar. So
Yeah, so the vinegar replaces the fermentation process.
okay,
So
I
when
couldn't think of
people
the
like
word
when people
fermentation.
make pickles, they typically just put vinegar in there.
Uh-huh.
It replaces the need to ferment the pickles. They still taste like pickles, but they're not technically
It's
fermented.
not
So
fermented. Okay,
yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's super helpful. And then for the dressing, it was lemon juice, olive oil, and some mayo.
Okay. Probably a tablespoon of olive oil, maybe.
Yeah. And like some herbs and spices in it, but I don't
Okay. Yep.
put that. Yeah.
And then
It was a
any
little bit of
snacks?
a bigger lunch because I didn't really eat breakfast. So
Any snacks?
that's it so far because that was just right before my last interview. So
Okay. And then do you like what would your average dinner be, do you think?
uh so depends on if I've got company or I mean I've been trying not to eat as many potatoes, but it normally be like a grilled salmon and a half a potato. One night this week I had salmon and then I had a Coco June yogurt and that was it. It was like a piece of grilled salmon and Coco June yogurt. So I don't know. Yeah, like a half a potato, that would be good. Yeah.
Okay.
Or yeah, regular potato normally, but I like sweet potatoes too. But
Okay, we'll do a half. And anything else with the salmon and potato?
Um, if I'm feeling like I need a treat, I'd probably have those special probiotic drinks that only have a little bit of sugar in them.
Oh, like a poppy?
Like a poppy. Yeah, I would have a poppy on the side. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put any vegetables. It would just depend. Like I like to steam broccoli or stir fry some spinach because that's easy.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just put in some. Did I spell broccoli wrong? I can't
Two,
remember if it's
yeah,
one C or two L's or what. There we go. So maybe a cup of broccoli.
yeah.
Okay. So let's look at what you're consuming. So 1,100 calories, 85 grams of protein, 56 carbs. So,
Is that high on the carbs, huh?
no, very low,
Oh, low on the carbs.
very low. Yes. So, as women, we need carbohydrates to fuel our body. And so, typically, you don't want to go anywhere under 150, and you're at 56.
Hmm.
Calories, we don't ever want to go below 1,500, and you're at 11.
Hmm.
Protein, we don't want to go below 100, and you're at 85.
Okay,
You're getting good fats with your salmon, and your avocado and your olive oil. Fat, we're all on board with fat. We need fat for our hormones, our brain, all of that. But we're quite a bit under in the other three. And then we come down here to look at your nutrients. And these are kind of some big ones we want to look at. So not quite hitting the fiber, only about a third of your iron, less than half calcium, about half your vitamin A. You're doing good on a lot of these other vitamins.
I forgot I
Um,
did take a shot of dose.
okay, love the dose. Yeah.
Yeah, I did a shot of dose too, the liver one so far, which that has
Some nutrients in it too. Yeah.
yeah.
So you can always add that. But so we're only at 21 grams of fiber.
Mhm.
The recommendation is like 35.
Yep, yep.
Um, and you can see here,
Because is there fiber in the almonds?
yeah.
There is, but not enough. Yeah. So
Mhm.
how if I had done 3 eggs instead of the nuts, well, eggs don't have fiber, but
No. So you probably would have hit your protein.
I would
Well,
hit my protein, but yeah,
actually,
because
still wouldn't have hit your protein.
wow. And
Yeah.
that
So
that feels like a lot of meat.
yeah, so this is why I wanted to do this as an
Yeah.
example because women are under eating.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't want to call you out particularly because I did the exact same thing until I
No, this
started
is
tracking.
helpful.
Yeah.
Like you could easily throw in, like now in retrospect, I could have easily thrown in some garbanzos, which
Yep.
would have given me carbs and protein.
Protein.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you are you are just doing exactly what I want you to do is think about what else can I add? It doesn't mean you have to eat a ton more food, but like how can I make this food a more well-rounded meal? So, you know, this is why I track because like I eat a lot of food. And this day, all this food I ate, I just barely hit my numbers. Barely,
Wow.
barely, barely. Right. So this is why I
Yeah.
track because I'm like, okay, I ate a big dinner. I ate a nice, good, big lunch. I had my shake that I have every day that's got tons and tons and tons of nutrients in it. My morning shake has 32 grams of protein, 46 grams of carbs. But this is what I have to do to make sure I'm getting enough nutrients, right? So this is what, I don't think people should track forever because it can tend to get a little obsessive. But if you track for maybe a week or so, or it took me quite a bit longer than that to get to my ideal day. But once you know what your ideal day is, you can start repeating some meals to make it simpler, but kind of look at your ideal day and go, okay, how can I make this happen? Do I need to meal prep? Do I need to, make some things ahead of time so that they're easier to grab, right? So this is totally free Chronometer. So everyone out there, I really encourage you to get this app and just start looking at what you're eating. And like I said, most people, when they're looking at what they're eating, they're doing it in the opposite way of this. They're trying to eat less. I want you to eat more, but more nutrients, right?
So I was gonna look on when you tracked yours, what were you eating that was helping with to help your gut and your, you know, like kimchi wise and
Yeah, so you're going for showing up. Actually, put in the chat. Make sure you put in the chat your name so that
okay.
Nicole has everyone's name, and she is going to send you my my 3-day sample meal plan.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say, so I was going to do all this at the end, but since we're
Oh,
talking
sorry.
about it, no, I love having conversation. This is why I like doing these on Zoom because we can actually have human conversation instead of, doing it on Facebook. No one can talk. So you will see what I eat in a day, and it's just samples. It's not necessarily how I do 3 days in a row. But what you don't want to do is just jump up really quickly. So you don't want to go from most people are only eating like 10 grams of fiber a day, which is really, really under eating. You don't want to jump from 10 to 35. Like your gut will go, what the hell are you doing? And so you don't want to go from 70 grams of protein to 120. Like your gut is not going to like that either. So it's all about slowly adding things in so you can get to the point that you need to be at without just
Yeah.
adding a whole bunch of stuff and really surprising your body. Your body will start to get used to whatever you are feeding it, and it'll keep you alive. Like your body's working really hard to keep you alive all the time, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's getting the fuel that it wants. But it's when it's used to something, it knows how to digest that amount of food. So you just want to go up slowly.
Yeah.
So
I
you'll get my whole 3 day thing where I've got
Right. Yeah.
all my good stuff in there.
I've been purposely trying to add spinach to my eggs in the morning because I've always eaten eggs because, right, that's an easy way to start out with. But eggs don't have as much protein as you really think.
That's true.
Yes, but in the spinach, all it doesn't take much to just stir fry your eggs instead of fry them and put some veggies in with it, and that definitely starts the day because it's hard to catch up if you don't get it first thing.
Exactly. Yep. And
Yeah.
that's why I just have the same shake every single day of my life, 365 days a year. Because
Wow.
then I know no matter what I do the rest of the day, I've started my day in the best way possible. I've given my body something that's really easy to digest. It's got all the protein, all the fiber, tons of nutrients. And then, if I kind of like go out for dinner with my friends and don't have the most nutritious meal, it's okay because I started my day so well. It just kind of makes everything a little bit easier. So, what to look for as you're tracking your food, I would say 1,500 calories is the minimum. I mean, and this is just to get by. I wouldn't recommend eating 1,500 calories. Of course, it's different for how tall you are and how much energy you expend, how much you work out. So this is just a very broad look, right? So every person is different, but optimal is probably more like 1,800. So this would be 700 more calories for you, right? That probably sounds a little bit alarming, but when we look at what the human body really needs, this is really sort of where we want to be. 16 to 18 is kind of where I like to fall. So macros, especially as we get older, women, we lose a lot of muscle. Like every day we're losing muscle. So we really need protein to help keep that muscle. We need carbs for fuel. I know that we have been taught not to eat carbs, but carbs equal fiber, right? So we want to eat the carbs that have fiber in them. But we don't want to cut carbs. Our body is not going to like that. So someone with health issues, maybe they do the keto diet for a couple of weeks to get their body into ketosis, something like that. But then you go right back to a normal diet. Like it's just not a good thing long term. And then fat, about 60 grams. As long as you're eating good fats, I don't worry too much about, like if you're having the avocado, olive oil, salmon, that's all so fantastic for the brain. So I love all of that. So here's what people are missing. So when most people track, I did a whole metabolism program because I wanted to learn about metabolism for women in menopause because most of my clients are sort of hitting that perimenopause age. So I did this whole thing where I learned about the metabolism, and they did not care what food you were eating as long as you were hitting these macros. And they're actually quite a bit higher. And I was like, I can't believe this. Like they're just saying, just keep shoveling food into your mouth until you hit 140 grams of protein. That was their recommendation. And to me, that is just so opposite of what I teach with gut health. And so what I want people to start looking for is 30 grams of protein fiber. Fiber is what feeds our good gut bacteria. We need our good gut bacteria for every process that happens in the body. We don't have bacteria to do it. It's not going to happen. We got to have it for balancing hormones, for reducing inflammation, for protecting our gut, like we were talking about. And then 100% plus of your vitamins and minerals. So I was telling you before that the range is really low. We don't just want the low amount of vitamins. We want plus. So I'm looking for 100% plus of my vitamins and minerals. I don't just want to barely hit it. I want to be on the optimum side. And then omegas. So this is really overlooked. So unless you're eating a lot of salmon, sardines, anchovies, things like that, which people aren't really eating that much of, we need to look at omega ratios. So omega 6s are, I don't want to say the bad ones because we need them, but they tend to be in foods like French fries and chips and things like that. And omega 3s are the quote good ones, right? So we want the ratio of omega 6 to 3 to be 4 to 1 or less. Most Americans are at 25 to 1, which is highly, highly inflammatory. So this is a big issue. This is the really important stuff that most people are missing. And then just continue tracking, see what you're consistently low on, and then that's what you may need to supplement with. If you just really aren't getting this in your diet, maybe look at filling the gaps. So this is not about perfection. This is not about restriction. It is simply awareness. So you know what you are putting into your body. And so thinking about at each meal, the Happy Belly score 4. So every meal, we want to think about protein, a good source of protein. So we always want to source our protein from a really healthy place, pasture-raised chicken, wild caught fish, grass-fed beef. If you're a vegetarian, plant-based protein, I don't recommend the vegan diet if you are trying to heal your gut, but some people are. So you just want to make sure you're getting enough protein in, fiber, fruits, vegetables, beans, lentils, chickpeas, quinoa. Like you said, how can I add more to this? Can I throw a cup of quinoa? Can I throw in some lentils? Like how can I get a little bit more fiber into my day? Healthy fats, we talked about that. And then color. So every different color has an antioxidant property. So it's going to reduce inflammation. It's going to help a lot of processes in the body and feed a different kind of bacteria. So a lot of people are eating the same foods a lot of the time. We get stuck in a rut, right? Like we're always having broccoli or always having carrots or always having spinach, which is fine. But if you want to really diversify your gut bacteria, which I can see when I do gut microbiome tests, how many different good bacteria you have, this is how we're going to get all the good bacteria is all the different colors of the rainbow. So everyone will always hear me say, eat the rainbow, eat the rainbow. And this is why. So we get a variety of food to get a variety of gut bacteria. So when you're looking at your plate, you want to think about half your plate being colorful plants, even non-colorful plants, right? So potatoes, mushrooms, turnips, just because they're white doesn't mean they're not part of the rainbow. But any kind of plants, about half the plate. This is where your nutrients, your fiber is going to come from. About a quarter of the plate, we have some protein, whatever protein source you want. I don't know why they have asparagus in there, but this part here is protein. And then a quarter can be some kind of, little starchy food. If you need like a little bread, a little pasta, a little quinoa, whatever, then you want that to be this little corner here. And then you want to think about additives. You want to think about herbs, spices, nuts, seeds, a nice good mineral rich salt to put on top. So with every meal, we want to think about like, how can I make this the most nourishing meal that I can? And a lot of it comes with planning ahead, right? So making it easy on yourself to do this throughout your work week is going to be the key. But food alone is not enough to heal the body and get rid of your gut issues. Like this is what I cannot stress enough because everyone thinks if I just change my diet, I'll heal my gut issues. We need to look at the whole system. And so I showed you the pillars before: mind, body, the nervous system, nourishment, gut restoration, and lifestyle rhythms. So here are the cinder blocks. Here's what we need to do for each pillar. Conscious beginnings, create a clear vision for your health. We need to promote stillness to promote safety. The body cannot heal if it's not safe. So we have this rushing culture. We need to promote actual stillness over rushing. Breath work. So people are breathing. I don't like to use the word wrong, but people are not breathing the best way for their health. We need to teach people, and this is why I went to breathwork school, to teach people how to breathe the right way, to bring safety and oxygen into the body. It's so important. And then here's where we are today, the nourishment part. So this is only 1 out of 12 pieces of what we need to heal our gut. This whole nourishment part is one tiny piece. Most people think it's the whole piece, right? We need to make sure our nutrients are digestible. So if your gut is not working right, it's not going to break down a lot of these foods that we're putting into it. So we're not getting the nutrients. We need to make sure that we're eating things that are easily digestible, and then we fill the gaps with supplements. We got to heal the gut lining. You may have heard of leaky gut or intestinal hyperpermeability. We've got to heal that gut lining. We do microbiome testing so we can get a clear picture of what is going on in your gut. You are not the same as anyone else on this planet. Your gut microbiome is as unique as your fingerprint. You've probably heard me say that before because I can't stress it enough. We don't know what to do with you unless we know what is going on inside your body. We've got to get that snapshot. Then we balance the gut garden. We got to weed out the bad guys, plant in the good guys, balance everything out. Oh boy, now what have I done? Okay. Cycles. So we've got to work with our hormones. We tend to work against our hormones a lot. So whether you are cycling, perimenopausal, menopausal, we need to work with this beautiful, wonderful, womanly body that we have. Like, this is a blessing, right? This is how babies, that's how we're all here, is because women have hormones and we tend to really work against them rather than with them. We need deep sleep. We need to rest and recalibrate. If we're not getting deep sleep, the rest of this situation is not going to work. And then we need to detoxify. So we got to get rid of toxins that are in our body, and we got to stop putting them in the body. So this is my 12-step system that I use to help people get to a place where they are happy with their body, not having all these gut issues, having energy all day. So this is what I always say to people. Like, you are at a crossroad. You can keep doing what you're doing, right? Managing symptoms, putting Band-Aids over your issues, more and more Band-Aids, and spending more money, wasting more time. Things keep getting worse. So this is my journey where I was before when I had gut issues. Like, there's no way I could host my retreats that I love to host. I did it again. There's no way that I would be as good of a mom as I am, and I can go do all these things. I just went and met my son in Italy, right? Like, I couldn't have done that if I was sick all the time. I wouldn't be able to go on road trips with my husband. Like, I couldn't go on a road trip to the grocery store hardly without feeling sick, right? I wouldn't have clear, glowing skin. You guys, sometimes I did not leave the house for days because my skin, I had so much acne. So this, like, clear skin to me is amazing. Even being on this call, I would never have done if I had the skin I used to have. I wouldn't be able to help other people if I didn't feel good. And I would never be able to hike to the top of Machu Picchu if I didn't feel good, right? So these are all the things that people want to have, but they just keep doing the Band-Aids because that is what we've been taught, right? So if you want to have all these things, this flourishing, wonderful, energetic life, then we've got to get to the root. We've got to build all 4 of those pillars really strong. So this is where the Happy Belly method comes in. We use testing, a proven plan, and the right support. I simplify this whole 12-step process so that in 4 short months, you can see the results that you want instead of years of frustration. You do not have to do this alone. This is what most women have been doing for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, going down this journey alone, and it gets really frustrating. So what you get if we work together is a simple step-by-step plan. I have it all mapped out for you. You just go check off your little check boxes every week, and it walks you through the whole 4 months. You get professional support from me, so I'm here with you every step of the way. I can help you with everything going on in your life, from your nutrition to what stresses you out to your sleep. We test your gut and get a personalized protocol. I work with Microbiome Labs. So we get this protocol straight from the lab professional and all of their research that they've done. You get this 30-day nutritional gut cleanse, which this is how we make sure you get your nutrients, because this farm does not use glyphosate. They have mineral-rich soil. The food is pre-digested, so you know when you're having it that you are absorbing it. And this is 30 days of getting you all the nutrients you need, probably for the first time in your life. Personalized food plan and recipes based on your test results. And then we do a targeted supplement strategy, not just guessing like, well, let's try this, let's try this. We look at your tests and go, this is exactly what your test is telling us. I also teach Pilates online, so you always have movement. Movement is a big piece of the puzzle as well. A stagnant body creates stagnant digestion. I teach breath work online, so we work on that nervous system piece, calming the nervous system, teaching you how to breathe so you're actually getting oxygen into your cells and teaching the nervous system that we are safe. That is how the body can heal. And then as a special bonus, Nicole, my beautiful assistant who's here, she is a somatic practitioner. So you also get one healing somatic session with Nicole where you just have a session with her. She talks with you, and then she has various modalities that she can use to help you really feel that safety and that peace and calm in your body. So lots of testimonials from women who cannot believe how they used to feel, and then 4 months later come out of the program feeling the best they've ever felt in their life because we were actually giving their body what they need. So my client Jessica, she was literally in the fetal position on the floor of the emergency room hospital, and her husband messaged me on Facebook and said, I need help for my wife. And she says almost gave up after 2.5 years. So this program really means a lot to me. We got her feeling better like almost immediately. My client Karen, she was very overweight, had rheumatoid arthritis really bad, so she couldn't exercise because she was in so much pain. Inflammation was through the roof. We got her down 30 pounds, her CRP, which is that inflammation marker, down to 0.07, under 1, right? That optimal range. Cholesterol dropped 60 points. She got off her lifetime antacid that she had been using since her 20s. She was finally able to exercise again. And then surprisingly enough, her eczema all went away, which she didn't even tell me about her eczema. She didn't realize that was something that we could even fix. And she texted me one day and she goes, I just realized I've had no eczema. So it's amazing what you can do when you really address the root cause, what is really going on in the body. Woken up without a headache, CRP levels way down. This CRP was crazy inflammatory, right? We got it down 14 points in 6 weeks. No belly pain, bloating, regularity. So that's a no-brainer. Like joining the program, number one thing that we are going to do is get you regular. Like I will go to my dying day if you don't become regular. Like that is, if you don't have those number 4 snake-like bowel movements, we are getting you there. This client actually, she goes, I'm going to be your hardest client you've ever had because I've never been regular in my entire life. I've been constipated since I was a baby. She was 50 years old. She had her 50th birthday when we worked together, and she became completely regular, pooping every day. Same with this client. She was drinking Senna tea for decades to poop, and she's started pooping every day without Senna tea. Stomach doesn't hurt all the time. This was a young girl. She was very skeptical, and she said, my protocol is almost done. It's totally helped. It's so wild. Thank you so much. She couldn't believe the difference. She was a college girl. So if you would like to book a call with me to talk about any of your issues that you want to talk about, there's absolutely no pressure. We can talk about your health goals. We can talk about what you've tried in the past, what worked, what hasn't worked, and we can get you what next best steps toward reaching your goals, whether we work together or not. Obviously, I would love to work with you and get you these results in 4 months. But even if we don't, I still want to get you some next best steps. So this is the QR code to book your free call with me. It's usually about 30 minutes. Sometimes we go over to about 45 minutes, depending on what we're talking about. But anyone is welcome to book this call. And you're going to get your free gift. So Nicole is going to send you what I eat in a day as a gut health coach. It's a sample 3-day meal plan. It's not, a lot of times I tend to eat the same things for a couple of days. So it's not like I eat all this in 3 days, but it's just a sample of what I might do in a day. It's 10 recipes, a shopping list even, and it covers all those happy belly bases that we talked about. it's how I get 120 grams of protein and 35 grams of fiber and all my nutrients and all my omegas, right? So all those things that we talked about.
Do you have options for people if they don't want like the kefir dairy? Do you have
Hi,
substitutions
Barb.
for that?
Yeah, in the meal plan,
Yeah.
there's there's a whole bunch of different things.
Okay, good. I
Yeah,
just wanted to
yeah.
make sure.
Yeah.
Because I know that was one of the ones you recommended, but I'm like, what other ones are there that aren't dairy? Okay.
Oh, there's yeah. I mean, kefir is you can get coconut too, so you don't have to get dairy.
Okay.
And I actually use goat kefir because it's easier to
Oh,
digest.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to open the chat and see if we have any questions. And then if you have questions, you can just pop off mute and we can talk about it.
Sorry, I jumped the gun again.
No, you're good. I love it. Um, okay, so Linda, I don't have my gallbladder anymore on Pepcid. Right. Okay. So this is another sort of failure of the medical system is when you're having gallbladder issues, they just take it out.
Sorry.
This is a problem. Like we have these organs in our body for a reason, right? So just yanking it out is not the best thing. But that being said, it's already done. We can't go back. So we just need to support the liver and we need to support fat digestion because that is what the gallbladder is there for. It holds the bile and releases the bile when we eat fat. So we need to support the digestion of fat and we need to support the liver because the liver, it's kind of the backup of the liver. So there's a lot of things that you can do to make sure that you're digesting fat well. We want to make sure you're not eating too much fat and we want to make sure that you're eating the healthier kinds of fat, right? So the things that we want to avoid is like deep fried foods. That kind of goes for everybody. And I am a French fry lover, let me tell you. But I really do avoid deep fried foods as much as I can. I probably maybe have them once a month. But trying to reduce those inflammatory fats and then we can take some digestive support to help your body break down the fat so it doesn't have to rely so much on the liver. And then there's lots of stuff that you can do to support your liver to make sure that it is working at full speed. There are liver teas, liver supplements. There's just a lot of good foods that are good for the liver, bitter foods like dandelion greens are really good. You know, all those dandelions that everyone is mowing over. Those dandelion leaves are so good for the body, and everyone is just killing them. It's so sad. And then Pepcid. So the combination of taking the Pepcid, which is blocking the stomach acid from doing its job, and then not having the gallbladder to supplement breaking down in the stomach. We've got some issues going on in the stomach. We actually need more stomach acid. Typically, people think they need less stomach acid. We actually need more. So if you think about like, if you take a big old steak and you dip it in water, what happens? Nothing. It's just going to
Thanks.
sit there. If you take a big old steak and drop it in a hot bucket of acid, it's going to break down, right? So every time we take an acid blocker, we're letting the food sit in the stomach and just ferment. So we don't want to just get ourselves off of acid blockers. This is not like a everybody stop your acid blocker situation. It is a process. We need to support the body as we wean slowly off of it and help the body with digestion. Like we need to make sure that we are doing everything we can so that the foods we're putting in are getting broken down in the stomach, right? So we need to put
The
in
reason
easily digestible foods. Go ahead.
the reason I'm on Pepcid is because I have esophagitis, redness, inflammation, and swelling in my esophagus, and I have Barrett's esophagus, which is the lining of my esophagus.
Mm-hmm.
I was on two different PPIs, Protonix and Omeprazole, and I had bad side effects from it. I was taking digestive enzymes to help not having my gallbladder, replacing things that it was helping with, and
Yeah.
then they had me stop taking the enzymes.
Yeah.
But it was
So
helping with my bloating and my airy rolling burps and belly pain. the
Yeah, so
digestive enzyme.
there is an enzyme in there called lipase, which is what helps
Yep,
you break down fat. So, I don't know, I can't give you medical advice because I
right.
haven't done no testing on you, but typically we do, lipase is good for helping you break down fat. But the thing that doctors do whenever you have issues with any kind of reflux, they just keep putting you on more and more acid reducing things, right?
Right.
Which is a temporary solution. It might resolve your symptoms for a little bit while we figure out how to fix it, but it's not a long-term solution, right?
Yeah, and he says, I want you on a PPI or on the Pepcid because of the esophagus issue.
Yeah. So
And it says everything I read says you only should be on that stuff for a short period of time, not a long time.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I've
it
been
says
on
it
it.
right on the package. Yeah. So this doctor doesn't know how to fix your issue.
I know.
So it's just giving you band-aids, right? And
Yep.
I do not want to talk poorly about doctors. Doctors are heroes, they save lives. This is a medical system problem, not a doctor problem. They don't
Right.
teach in medical school how to actually get people healthy. So it's not the doctor's fault, right?
Yeah, the pharmacies want the business, the prescriptions.
Right. So, and the doctors get a kickback for everything they
Yep.
prescribe. So it's a system issue, not a doctor issue. But the
Right.
doctors don't know, they don't know the root cause of your issue, so they don't know how to help you fix it.
That's why I popped on just to tell you why I was on the Pepcid or why
Yeah.
and
And thank you for that
I
because
did
it's good information because you're not the
esophagus.
only person with this story. Many people have this story. They had heartburn, they had reflux, they were put on omeprazole forever,
Hmm.
damage, right? Barrett's esophagus. Like I've seen this time and time again. And the
Yeah.
real answer is to fix the root and then undo the damage, not
Right.
continually just put a band-aid on and let it get damaged more and more, right? So I'm sorry
Thank
that
you for
you are going
sharing.
through that. This is a
Yeah.
very, very, very common issue, but there is a solution
Okay.
always. The body
Okay.
has the amazing ability to heal itself. We just need to give it the right inputs.
Thanks, Marissa.
Yeah, you're welcome. Started working on methylation. Okay, yeah. So genetic variations are a whole nother topic. MTHFR gene, so it's hard to methylate various vitamins. Um, yeah, feels like you're eating a lot. Yeah, so if you were under eating before and then you try and add a bunch of food, then you're going to feel like you're overeating. So that's why it's got to be a slow process. And we've got to make sure that as we're adding more food, we're making sure that we're supporting the digestion, not just adding more food, right? Because if the digestion isn't working and then we just put 1,000 more calories in the body is going to be very unhappy. So as we put more nutrients in, we want to support the digestion so we can actually break down the food and actually absorb the nutrients in through the gut lining. Um, yeah, most people, I would say the same thing. 12 to 1,400 calories for weight loss, that is severe malnourishment, I would say. Because if you put that into a calculator and look at what nutrients you're getting, I can almost guarantee you're getting about half the nutrients that you really need to be healthy, right? You can easily overeat for calories and still be under on nutrients, 1,000%. That's what we call overfed, undernourished. Um, Women need 2 eggs per day. That eggs are, they call it nature's multivitamin. But like I say, every person is as unique as their fingerprint. So there are many people that should not be eating eggs for various reasons. So that's why nutrition advice, you have to take it with a grain of salt and you have to really kind of do your own research because there are many people who have things going on in their body that eggs are going to exacerbate. There are some things we can see on your gut test that I would say cut out the eggs until we can resolve this issue and then slowly add them back in and see. But yeah, eggs have wonderful nutrients in them and protein. So they are quote unquote good for you, but we have to look at this with bio individuality for each person. Nicole put the link in the chat if you want to book your call. If you're not in the free Facebook group, she put the link there too. Coco June, right? I have not looked into Coco June specifically. I would look at how much protein is in it, and
8 to 10, I think it's 8 to 10 grams for like the small size.
yeah, and then how much sugar.
Yeah, none. Because it's made with coconut milk.
Yeah, so again, this is based on your needs. Like if someone is eating yogurt to get their protein needs, 8 grams isn't going to be huge, right?
Right.
Like if you're trying to avoid dairy, I would just make sure that you're getting enough protein, but not be thinking in your head like, oh, good, I'm getting all my protein because I'm having this yogurt if it only has eight
Right.
grams, right?
Right.
So great. Every food can be great as long as it fits into your ideal plan, right? Great questions, everybody. Does anybody else have any other questions before we go?
In your one-on-one chat, you cover maybe the costs of the plan and the cost of getting the microbiome testing and
Yeah, so I have a couple of different options. I have group and one-on-one options. If you want to go to my website, it lays out all the options for you with payment plans and everything. So let me drop the website. That is my website. And if you go to the Work With Me page, it will lay everything out for you. So there are one-on-one where we spend a lot of time on Zoom together. And then there's a group option where it's more like this, where we would meet in a group to go over everything. So two different payment options. And then a payment plan for each as well. Sorry, my throat is so dry. Oh yeah, Nicole just dropped it too. And then the name of the tracker is Chronometer. Highly recommend. Great tracker, even if it's just for a few days. Really just kind of getting a baseline there. So if anybody didn't put your name in the chat, make sure you put it there so you get the free gift. And if no one else has any questions, then I know there's a few people that came in late. I will send the replay to everyone who registered, so you can always go back and watch the beginning. And if you ever have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. You have my email now that you registered for this session, so you can always reach out to me anytime. You can always book a free call. I'm here to support you with whatever you need. So thank you all for showing up. Yes, you're welcome, Linda. Let me know if you have any more questions. Happy to help. Thank you. Thank you. So nice to see everybody. I love the conversation. Like, I miss doing these on Zoom. I was just doing them on Facebook for a while, but I love this interaction. So thank you all for showing up and for interacting. I appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.